The original Himalayan came in at a great price, affordable, lower end power adventure motorcycle, coming in under 5,000 British sterling pounds, so a really good bargain. However, it did have its downsides. It was an air-cooled engine, fairly basic engine, a bit rough around the edges, lacking in power, 24 horsepower and 32 Newton meters of torque. It had just conventional telescopic front forks, given it being an off-roading machine, maybe a little bit higher spec forks, maybe a bit of a nicer engine, a little bit more power there, maybe possibly a little bit smoother engine, may have made the Himalayan a really good buy. Modern day, 2024, Royal Enfield present the new Himalayan 450. There are some substantial upgrades on this motorbike. Gonna go for a ride today and compare it to the previous model, and I'm just going to go over what Royal Enfield exactly have done with the new 450, the changes they've made, and really, does it make a difference and how much of a difference does it make? Immediately starting up, you will notice this brand new TFT full colour display. Off we go. So this is the first noticeable difference, the TFT display. I feel I should mention this speed bump. It's the first in the world to have a fully round TFT display with full navigation integration. It's used with a thing called Tripper that Royal Enfield use. You download the app and you can connect your phone and you have a full screen, and they've used Google. This is a good navigation system. They've used Google Maps to design it, and it works really well. We'll go over it later. I'm going to connect my phone, I'll show you how it works. The old 410 had analogues. Analogues, if you like old school, sometimes are quite nice actually. I like an analogue. However, this is actually a very cool screen. It's very basic, as you can see. You've just got your revs here, very clear. Speed here, very clear. Gear indicator and your fuel. That's all you need. It's all you need. That's all they give. You don't need any more. Hello, pooches. Blimey, there's some hunting hounds here. We're in Salisbury. Oh, they love it. See you later, guys. Another major difference is the engine in the new 450. It's still a single cylinder, a 450cc engine. The difference is this new motor is liquid cooled, whereas the 410, the previous 410, was air cooled. Being liquid cooled, it runs smoother. The designers can squeeze more performance from the engine because the cooling is more efficient. So they can generate more horsepower and torque, work the engine harder without it being strained as much because it's being cooled more efficiently. This new engine, compared to the old 410 with 24 horsepower, this new engine has 40 brake horsepower and 40 Newton meters of torque. That's almost, in horsepower figures, twice as much as the old engine, which I find staggering. It's not a large bump in cubic capacity, but nearly double horsepower, 10 more Newton meters of torque, and as I'm riding now, it is absolutely night and day, honestly, with the 410. This 450 really has more legs. It's a 6-speed gearbox rather than a 5, so cruising up at near 60 mile an hour now, it's very smooth. I'm getting some vibrations through the foot pegs. To be expected, it's a single engine, you are going to get that. Difference, guys, in this new 50 is the front forks. they've beefed them up a bit, so they're 43mm upside down Showa forks with 200mm of travel. Before they were just telescopic forks, so fairly simple. Upside down they can take a lot more shock. Wider in diameter, they're more premium suspension up front. Since we're here, I must mention the exhaust. The exhaust sounds much better than the 410. Much fruitier. You will notice the difference with this new exhaust. Coming round to the front, 21-inch front wheel, obviously for that Himalayan off-roading, all-terrain adventure capability. I've always liked these racks. I know simple, but they got that utilitarian vibe to them. Strap a bag, maybe a water bottle, bit of food, camping gear, whatever you want. Looks cool. Looks like a cool bike. Once loaded up, looks utilitarian, designed for that sort of adventure and the Himalayas in mind. Okay, so I was just starting up, guys, to go for a ride. Just want to point out the stand. Really quality, just caught that as I was about to put it back there. It's a thick metal, robust stand there, which is always nice to have, especially on an adventure bike like this. Just going to get my phone out, go to the Royal Enfield app, go to Connect, add new device, Trippier Dash. Okay, and then you slide the joystick to the right, scan the screen, connect to device, join, wait for it to connect up. To be completely transparent, actually, I haven't managed to get the Google Maps up on it, which is the whole point. However, I have been in a bit of a rush, and I'm sure it is straightforward. You just need to YouTube it and Google it. But if you're trying to do it off your own mind, I haven't managed to do it. Maybe a point worth noting. Okay, so what's she like to ride? Immediately jumping on. It's actually a little bit smaller than I was thinking. It's a 17-litre tank, so plenty of range for your adventures. Yeah, she's a little bit smaller than I was thinking. It takes a minute to get used to. The wind protection, not the best. You haven't got much fairing, it's just a tank. It's a very small screen. You can opt for a larger screen. I would personally definitely go for a larger screen on this motorcycle. In terms of just cruising along, it's very comfortable. It feels fairly basic. It doesn't feel planted and nippy handling wise like other motorcycles, but that is due to the 21-inch front wheel. It's more aimed at being an off-roader. However, once you start moving, it's just got that. If you've ever ridden a motorbike with a 21-inch front, it doesn't dart into the corners and lean in immediately, but you can. It's just sort of, it's a lovely cruising, slow down a bit here. It's a lovely cruising, sort of a lazy you just sort of set and forget. You set it into the corner and you just roll around the corner. It is confidence inspiring. Doesn't make you nervous in a corner because of that 21-inch front wheel. I would actually say it's lovely just for sort of pottering around. If you want to go on a long adventure, much more capable doing it with this engine than the older motorcycle, and also more reliable as well. Let's be honest, the engine and the components are more quality. It's going to be more reliable. If you live in the UK and you're just riding around, you like taking it out on the weekend, you get to the country lanes like I am now, it's a really enjoyable ride. It's not going to light your hair on fire at all, but if you just like motorcycling, you just like being on two wheels, and you like just moving around the country lanes, going to the village for a coffee, this is a lovely bike for that reason. It goes against its massive Himalayan adventure vibes, which I'm sure it can do. I'm not in the Himalayas at the moment, but for just this, just lovely going through a village in Salisbury here, some country lanes, not being rushed, comfortable. You know, you get some gravel and potholes, this will just soak it up. It's really good at that. Another big improvement on this motorcycle is it has ride by wire, which the old 410 didn't have. So this has performance riding mode and also an eco riding mode. You can also disable the rear ABS, making it a bit of fun for riding off-road, etc. if you want to do some skids or have a little bit of fun. Funnily enough, this engine, because it's a single, it is smooth, don't get me wrong. For a single it's very smooth, but in a good way. When you're low down in the RPMs, oh, it's a nice bit of road. Woo. It feels a little bit reminiscent of a V-twin, like a sort of Harley Davidson, in a strange way, a Harley Davidson V-twin. It's sort of, it's throbbing. You can feel that throb because the single cylinder's working hard to give you the power, basically. But actually, I very much like that. It's characterful, and it gives it a little bit of meat. It feels like a meaty motorbike. Brakes are very good. Very good, maybe a bit of a stretch, but they're good enough. It's a single disc at the front, double piston, single at the rear, single piston caliper, I believe, but they're absolutely fine. I mean, no problem at all. When you do come on the brakes, maybe not the best term of phrase, when you squeeze the brakes, you get a little bit of suspension dive at the front, but to be expected. Again, it's an adventure bike, it's coming off-road, it's got long travel suspension. By no means does it make me feel uncomfortable or put me off the ride or anything like that. Okay, let's do a little bit of obligatory riding through town. I know that's not a massive thing of this motorbike, but it's nice to know what a bike's like through town. Okay, so Royal Enfield 450. It weighs 199 kilograms wet weight, so that's with fuel, fully loaded up, ready to ride, oil and fuel, etc. That's actually not that light. Basically the same as the old bike, but hello sir, riding, it feels light. Strange. Yeah, even hopping on, lugging it around, you know, I've been doing some camera work, moving it around for the camera, etc. I'm riding it now. She feels quite light. That's worth noting. Through town, absolutely great. It's a very light clutch, which is nice. Obviously through town, easy gear changing. There's no quick shifter. You don't need a quick shifter. I wouldn't want one. Easy enough in town. It actually feels quite slim as well. It's not a huge adventure bike. It's not a big GS or a KTM or Honda Africa Twin. It's slimmer. For an adventure bike, this is good in town. You could easily commute through cities on this, no problem at all. On top of that, if you are commuting through a city with this, looking over traffic, etc., you've got that extra height with the adventure bike style. Okay guys, so a slightly faster road here. Obviously we have a 6-speed gearbox, so knocking it up into 6th, cruising along, take it up to around 55 miles an hour. I can feel some vibration through the foot pegs. It does have rubber inserts, so I'm not sure what else you could do to mitigate against those vibrations. It's not bad by any means. Just letting you know, you can feel them. But with this new engine, when you're up at higher speeds, it's very comfortable. You've got wide handlebars, a vaguely domineering presence on the road with the wide handlebars. You're higher up. Yeah, I could plod along and have a little bit of fun. It's got a little bit of poke at higher speeds as well. Okay guys, hang about, because I need to show you one thing about this motorcycle, which I forgot to show you, so let's do it now. Okay, what did I forget to show you? You think, Redang, this is unacceptable. In your reviews they're slipping. Well, let me pick it up quickly. So, seat height. I'm a 32-inch inseam. I've got my notes out, I'm afraid. So there is a low seat option which ranges from 805mm to 825mm, or a high seat option, or standard, sorry, which goes from 825mm to 845mm. Plenty of range there for any rider. I would suggest whether you're 6'3" or 5'9" like me. I'll just show you what it looks like. I can flat foot it, as you can see, very easily. If you want to be a bit higher, go for that higher seat option. You can feel that more adventure vibes for off-roading. Sincerely hope you've enjoyed that review of the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. I'm a little bit late to the uptake on this, but it's nice to eventually get a ride on it. Overall thoughts, it's a huge improvement on the 410. It really is. Some big updates there, and for not that much more money. It comes in under £6,000 still for this, and it's a fun machine. It's a top quality thing now with that new engine TFT dash. You're getting a lot more for your money. It's still under £6,000, so a really good price there. Last but not least, many thanks to Hayball Motorcycles for allowing me to take this bike out for a ride today and review it. Very much appreciated for me getting back in the game of reviewing bikes, so many thanks to them, and I'm sure we will see them again. If you want a Royal Enfield and you're in the Salisbury area, get down to Hayball Motorcycles and get yourself a bike. Till next time, this has been Red Ang Revival.